lose myself up in those eyes. I just had to let you know you're mine. Hands on your body, I don't wanna waste no time.
Is there a way I can like make it go up? I guess not. Okay, hey guys, so I'm back with another Wattpad video. I know you guys are probably sitting there and saying, oh my gosh, wow, she's actually uploading a bunch of Wattpad videos back to back. But yeah, I have gotten a lot of requests to do billionaire romance and stuff along that lines. And honestly, I used to love billionaire romance. Like that's kind of started me getting into like my inner bookworm when I started reading billionaire romance. And so kind of took a break from that, got like lost in the sauce with the werewolf things. But after you guys requested it, I reunited with my love for billionaire romance, and I'm glad that I did. So I think I have 5 to 6 stories. Is it 5? I think it's 5. But yeah, you know, it's anyways. So I have 5 stories for you guys, and I'm gonna start off with Lustrous by Dream Big 96. And I'm gonna read the summary and give you guys my thoughts. Clumsy, accident-prone, and damn right weird is how people often describe Skylar Martin, and it doesn't surprise her that even the opposite sex didn't seem to be attracted to these qualities either. But is that all about to change? When Sky discovers her father's deepest, darkest secrets, she knows she must do anything to protect her family, even if it means marrying a man she doesn't even know and trying to become a woman she wasn't born to be. With threats and hard decisions to make, Sky will have to deal with more than just her quirky and crazy inner self, but also the demands of her new fiancé. Has she taken on more than she can handle? Read and find out. So, I love this book because the characters, she drew me in. Skylar drew me in. You can in the beginning, you can kind of tell something's off about Skylar, but it makes her her. Like, you know what I mean? So, Skylar's very quirky and she deals with her inner self, and her inner self's really funny, but basically she has to get married to this guy because they have to do an arranged marriage because his parents want him to marry her because he seems to be a loose cannon when making decisions, and so a lot of people don't want to make deals with him because they feel like he's a loose cannon. They feel like him being married will kind of tie him down and he'll be more focused when making decisions and not just jump the gun. And Sky's parents need her to marry him because her dad goes bankrupt, and they both end up coming to an agreement. It's funny to see how they grow and how their relationship grows, because I like how it doesn't just boom straight on they automatically like each other and it's automatically attraction. They don't like each other at first and they're not attracted to each other, but as it grows you can see how the attraction grows and how they grow to like each other and just basically grow. You know how I feel about growth. So that's basically what this story is. It's really good. So the next one is It's Only Temporary. Guys, this story, okay, so let me tell you guys something. So I'm not really someone that, I'm not someone that really enjoys third person. I don't know, I feel like it's not really personal, but if the book is good enough to draw me in, I'll read a third person book. And this book definitely did. It hooked me in immediately and I was down for it. And so it's called It's Only Temporary. I'm gonna read the summary. She never meant to stay forever. Just out of college, Penelope Stewart took a summer job as an office temp. With plans to go to med school in the fall, she thought she had her future all mapped out, until she laid eyes on the man who signed her weekly timesheets. David Powers had a way of making women change their plans, dripping with money and charm. He had a list of former flames that read like a society gossip column. But David also did his rules, and dating office secretaries fell strictly out of bounds. Not even pretty blonde secretaries with sassy little mouths, who kept renewing their temp gigs every week for reasons he couldn't quite fathom. Now 2 years later, Penny's still working for David, and their office flirtation has deepened further than either would care to admit. Penny must decide how much longer to put her dreams on hold for a man who will never be hers, and David must choose whether to offer his favorite temp a permanent position on the payroll or permanent place in his heart. Okay, so this book, to sum things up, Penny is straight out of college. She wants to go to med school. She got into med school and she's fresh out of a relationship, and she gets this job at a temp agency, and she's working in the accounting program, which is a little odd since she's trying to go into medical, and everyone thought it was odd, but she worked there, and last minute she moved in to her friend's 2-bedroom apartment. So it's 3 girls in a 2-bedroom apartment. So she's living in the living room, basically. So she's been doing that for 2 years because she's grown to like her boss. Like, she has a crush on her boss, which is David. And she stayed 2 years, and her friends are really worried about her. One of her friends, Lauren, oh, I love this girl. She's so sassy, but Lauren's like trying to pick her up to get out of the apartment. She's like, you need to mow. She's like, you're literally dropping your life, putting your life on hold for a guy who doesn't even notice you, is what she's saying. Because Penelope she's been putting off getting into the med school program. I think it was Harvard she was trying to get into. She put it off for 2 years, and she kept renewing her temp job there, which was just supposed to be a summer job. And so Lauren's basically saying, look, you're gonna have to get out. I let you stay on my couch for like 2 years, so I'm gonna have to be tough on you and tell you to leave. Which, okay, a lot of people in the comments were saying like Lauren's rude and stuff, but I can see how they kind of say she was being rude, but I feel like she's being a tough friend. I would want my friend to push me out on the street so I can, well, not push me on the street, but like push me out on my own so I can grow. I mean, come on. You're saying you're not going to be tired of someone living on your couch for 2 years? Back to David and Penelope, they have like this little flirtation thing going on. It's been going on for 2 years, but no one's ever made a move. And there's obviously this attraction between each other, but David has a certain set of rules that he doesn't want to break. So he goes by these rules every day, and they're just personal rules. And because he's been hurt before, he's been hurt by someone, and you grow to see what happens and why he's been hurt and how he's been hurt. You see how their relationship grows. And yeah, so this is called It's Only Temporary. So the next book is The Beast. And this is one of those, this is a very slow paced book, so if you're not down for that, you know, this probably isn't the book for you, but it's pretty slow paced, but it keeps you intrigued. Here's a summary. To the world, he was a beast, but for her, he would do anything. He could have the world, but all he wanted was her. They say the things we want most are things we can't have. For she was so afraid of him that even the thought of him could have her running for the hills. Little did she know that she was the only one who didn't have to be afraid of him. So Xavier first laid eyes on her 2 years ago. And so now they're in the present. She's still in college. She's on her 3rd year of college. She's in her 2nd or 3rd year of college, and she works at a cafe. She reads books, you know, typical college kids. Like, she's doing what she needs to do to get by. She lives in an apartment in New York, and Xavier has been watching her, but he didn't want to approach her yet because he just felt like she was too innocent. She was really young, and he just felt like she was too innocent, and he didn't want to taint her innocence, as he says. But because Xavier is a really powerful, rich guy, and he's known to be, basically there's rumors that were circulating about Xavier because he grew his empire suspiciously fast. So people have suspicions that he did some illegal things to get his empire grown like that, and yada yada yada. I think that he's involved in the mafia. It's a lot of rumors going around about Xavier, and so of course Sophia has heard about them. So finally, when they cross paths, which I'm not going to tell you how, when they cross paths, they finally start talking. She's terrified of him, and so you basically see her grow to come over this fear. And he's a terrifying man. He's a terrifying man, don't get me wrong, but not to her. Like, she's the one person that, like they said in the summer, she's the one person that shouldn't fear him because he has this love for her, and he has looked out for her for 2 years. And yeah, this book is The Beast. We are down to the last 2. I told you guys, this is long. This video is gonna be long. Okay, so the next one is The Black Manor. So at first I had my suspicions about this book because I was kind of, okay, usually I can tell when a book isn't gonna be good by like the first chapter. And the first chapter didn't really sink me in, but as I kept reading, I was like, okay, this is a pretty decent book. Like, it's pretty good. And this is called The Black Manor. I'm gonna read it to you. Theodore Black, a 40-year-old successful entrepreneur, has always been aloof and reserved. After he was betrayed by the only woman he opened up to, he gave up on everything and became a recluse. He appointed a CEO for his company and moved to a part of the country where he knows no one would think to look. Violet had always been a happy-go-lucky girl. She dreamt big and thought she would become great and change the world. None of that happened, but she just landed a job with a very mysterious employer. The way things are going for her, she would love a little dose of mystery in her otherwise boring life. When their paths crossed, sparks would fly. They both could get a golden chance at love again, if they didn't let go of their past, that is. But would the people from their past let them go? Okay, so this book, this is the reason why it didn't really catch me in at first, because in the beginning, so you know that she gets this job at this manor, like it's like this really big house. She gets this job here and she is the personal assistant to this guy that is Theodore. She's the personal assistant to Theodore, and this is why I didn't get really sucked in the beginning. She worked there for a couple of weeks and she didn't even meet Theodore. So in my mind, I'm wondering, like, how is she working there? She doesn't even know who her boss is. Like, she's assisting to someone who's not there. So that's why it didn't really intrigue me at first. But when they finally met, it got me hooked. They're both battling with things. They both have their past and their demons and stuff, and so they have to work together because there obviously is a physical attraction between the two, so they have to work together to overcome those things. And it's just really beautiful how, I said beautiful, okay, and it's just really beautiful how they bond, the things that they bond over, and how she has his back and he has her back. And I just love how they grew more of a friendship before they got into a romantic relationship. And when they build a friendship first, I love that, because it's like someone you can count on, someone who's always there for you, someone you can just talk about your feelings to. And they formed a friendship first before they had any romantic relationship, and I really enjoyed that. And the book wasn't too like boom in your face, like bam, they're already kissing and stuff. Like, it takes a while for that, and I'm glad, because I don't like books that go straight into it unless it's a really good book. But this book didn't. It took its time. It was paced really good, and I like this book. And this is the Black Manor. So the very last book, I said this for the last book because I'm not done with it, but this book has me intrigued, guys. I've been reading this every single night, and this is My Possessive Billionaire. As I stated before, I do not like third person's point of view, but this book had me hooked. And I stumbled across this book like accidentally, and this book is so good. Okay, I'm about to read the summary. The man who had everything finally met his match. Enrique Monteiro, powerful Brazilian billionaire, got everything he wanted in life. He had the looks, wealthy, power, and women. Wealth, power, and women. He often traveled with his private jet to negotiate business deals all over the globe. His godly look and reserved attitude made women chase him more. He had everything he wanted in just a snap of the fingers. Everything except a woman named Sofia Castillo. So, this book was so good because Enrique's father was best friends with Sofia's father, and they arranged for them to have a marriage. And so, he didn't want to, and this is why, okay, I did not like him at first, because in the beginning of the book, he already judged Sofia by a picture and what paparazzi and gossip blogs said about her, because they said that she was a spoiled brat and she was childish and things like this. And he judged her, and he like by a picture, he was just chewing her out. He was like, yeah, she cannot be like this. She's not classy. She's not this. She's not that. And then when he met her, he was shocked, because everything he thought that she was not, she was. So I just loved how she proved him wrong. But also, I love how she challenged him, because he's used to getting his way. And Sofia definitely put him through it. She was not one of those people that can walk over. She let him know, because he's so used to be like, and honestly, this is what gets me. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm about to rant a little, but this is what gets me. He sat there and talked about how he didn't want, how she was a spoiled brat and all this and that, but when in reality, he's the spoiled brat. He was sitting there talking about how spoiled she is, and don't get me wrong, Sofia was a little spoiled, but compared to him, like, it's funny. It's fun. Let me rant. Let me shed some knowledge on y'all real quick. It's funny how the ones that be the main ones talking about oh my gosh, like, you're so messy, they're so messy. They're the messiest ones. They really are. Look out for those, okay? They always want to talk about somebody else's life, but they don't want to try to fix their own. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I got really deep right there, but okay. But yeah, so he judged her, and boy was he wrong. And she challenged him, and so he was not expecting that. So he met his match by Sophia, and so you'll see how they interact and how their relationship bonds and what happens. Okay guys, that's all the books for today. I think my next book thing is gonna be mafia books, mafia inspired books. If it's not mafia inspired books, it's just gonna be a Wattpad favorite, stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys like me just doing one specific genre of books and just a lot of books, let me know, because I'll keep doing those. It's no problem. But yeah, so I did Billionaire romance. So I think someone said they wanted mafia books. And then someone said fan fiction, which whoever said fan fiction, DM me on Twitter or Instagram of books I can read for fan fiction, because I honestly don't know, like, you know. Yeah, and if y'all do have recommendations, DM me on social media, like Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever. Instagram me and let me know of suggestions. I'll definitely read them. Chase, be quiet. Okay, yeah, I have no problem. And yeah, okay. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.